Hello, hello. Wednesday evening in Portugal. If you're here, say hello. Hey, Tina. Welcome to Wednesday. How are you? I love it. Hello, y'all. I used to live in Atlanta and I had to move because I got very tired of the Southern accent. And Atlanta isn't even very Southern. So, how are you? What's going on? How are you? How are you? I don't know. It sounds weird. I'm used to saying it in Portuguese. And so now saying it in English just sounds weird to my ears. ¿Cómo estás? How are you? I'm doing good. I've got some coffee and I've got some pieces of chocolate and I got my Kindle. I'm doing good. I'm glad that I got out for my walk this morning because it started raining this afternoon, which I suppose is good because we're going to need the rain so we don't have a bad fire summer like we had last year. So I'm sort of like, okay, I'm good with having it rain a little bit, but only when I want to be inside. I don't want it to rain on Saturday because Saturday is the antiques market, I hope, unless it rains. So we haven't had an antiques market in I don't think I've gone, I don't. So I went to the US. When did I go? In February or March? In February. Yeah, in February. So I missed the one in March. And then the one in April got rained out. So I missed it. So now it's May. And I'm really, really hoping that it doesn't rain because I love the antiques market. It is super fun. It's out by the marina and like there are some antiques. Sometimes there's good antiques and sometimes there's just like a lot of junk. Sometimes it's more like a junk fair with like people selling nails and things like that. Like not like like nails that you hammer into a board. I don't know, but sometimes it's really good. Like my elephant. Where's my elephant? I got my elephant at the antiques market in, I don't know, January maybe. And it's really nice. I got to put some flowers in that. But yeah, so hopefully, I hardly ever buy anything, but I really do like to walk around looking and dreaming of all the things I could buy. Tina, I know I said I was going to start to read or I was going to keep reading my Portuguese book, but I'm not tonight. My brain is too tired to do any serious Portuguese language learning, any serious Portuguese language learning. So I'm going to keep reading the book for one of my book clubs. And Tina, I got a question for you. I'm super excited about the summer reading challenge. I'm super excited you're in. Have you started choosing your books for summer? And are you going to choose books in advance or are you just going to wing it? Are you just going to wing it for the summer? I am reading The Candy House by Jennifer Egan. Something Egan, Julie Egan, I think Jennifer Egan. And I'm a little bit bummed because, no, I'm not bummed. It's a book club book. But it's also the second book of a series. And I didn't read the first book. I didn't even know there was a first book. So I'm I started reading it the other night before I went to bed. And maybe it's because I was just tired right before I went to bed. But I kept having to reread paragraphs and pages because I was like, I am so confused. And it took me a while to be like, oh, okay, this is another world that's sort of like Facebook, but it's also a little bit it's just another world that I didn't know about because I didn't read the first book. So I'm kind of into it now. Although sometimes when the other world stuff comes up, I have to like check myself and be like, okay, wait a minute. What's going on? What is he talking about? Because he's using some language that I don't really know. So the candy house. I know. I'm excited about the summer. All right. I've started to choose my books. Did you really? Oh my gosh. Okay. 10 books so far. Once I have the 12, I'm going to order them the way I want to read it. And then each week have like a schedule. Okay. Very cool. Or put all the names in the cup and randomly draw them. Yeah. I haven't even thought about like what order. I haven't really even thought about the books I want to read yet. I have like a million ideas of books I want to read, but I'm like forcing myself to not pick any until like the end of the month or the last week of the month because like I don't want to ruin May. I have all of these great books to read in May. And I'm like, Vivian, you need to calm down about the summer. The summer will come and you will have your books. But I'm so excited about it that I can't hardly stand it. So I'm going to do like you. I'm going to have like a regular, like this is my June, what I'm going to read in June, like my regular, I got to read Colleen Hoover. I got to read my book club books. I got to read my Portuguese book, like the books that I'm like, I need to read, but then I'm going to have a whole separate thing for the summer. And then I got to figure out like when I'm going to read them. All right. So this is what you're reading tonight, A Dash of Death by Michelle Helen Klump. That's for tonight. I also have a question for you because I know you read a lot of young adult. Am I right about that? I think. I was reading to a podcast. No, I was listening to a podcast this morning that I like. It's called, What Are You Going to Read Next? Or something like that. Gosh, I say I like this podcast and then I can't remember the name of it. What are you reading next? What to read next? Your next book? Something like that. And they interviewed this woman. They were trying to find like they were talking about the kinds of books she likes and then trying to find choose her next book. That's the premise of it. And they brought up two books that I was like, I want to read those so badly. And I'm wondering if you've read them and or heard of them. One of them, let me see, it was called, let me get my little thing here. My recommended books page. Okay, one of them is called The Future of Us. And the other one is called Give Me a Call. Have you heard of either one of these? All right, that's what you're reading tonight. Don't read a lot of young adults. Cozy mysteries I read are not, okay. I don't know why I thought you read young adults. Who am I thinking of? Mika? The cozy mysteries. You know what, Tina? I should put a cozy mystery on my summer list, right? It's a genre that I have never read, I don't think. And it would be like a fun book. And that's what I'm sort of looking for the summer, are books that are kind of fun and lighthearted, because I'm planning on doing a lot of reading at the beach and I want to just have fun and be a little bit silly. You haven't heard of either one of those books. I should. And you know what? You, as the cozy mystery expert, should give me a good recommendation. So, is there a cozy mystery that you know of? Think about it. You don't have to tell me now. Outlander on your list. All right. Oh my God. If you do, then I'm definitely going to make sure that you're in my Zoom group so we can talk about it. So Outlander, here's the problem with Outlander for summer reading. It's gigantic. It's gigantic. Like it's just big, right? And so it's so good though, but it's just big. It's a lot of book. And if you're doing, I mean, you probably won't have a problem because you read a lot of books normally anyway. But the months last year when I was reading through, like there's nine books already in the Outlander series. And so I started again from book number 1 because I wanted to read book number 9 that had just come out, but I wanted to start again at book number 1, right? Because it's been a year or so since I read them. And because they're so good, I always reread the whole series when a new one comes out. So like, I think it definitely limited the number of books I could read in a month because one, I really like to slow read it because it's so good and I don't want to miss anything and I really want to get in with the characters even though I've read it a million times. But it's just a lot of pages. They're big books. A lot of shit goes down in those books. So if you put it on your list, then we are definitely going to be in the Facebook thread talking about it, in the Zoom meeting talking about it. Yeah. I'm reading on the beach. Do I want to summer one? I don't know what that means. Do I want to summer one? My edition is 850 pages. Because you got a first edition, right? With the first edition cover, whatever that looks like. Yeah, it's it's big. And they all are, like all 9. So fair warning, when you finish that one, you're going to then have to go get another 850 page book and then another one and then another one and another one and another one. And then I don't know when the 10th book is coming out. She's writing it right now, but yeah, then you're going to have to reread all of them again. It's like a whole year of Outlander. Oh, a summer themed. Okay. Yes, either like a summer beachy themed or the exact opposite, like a Christmas themed one. Mass market editions. You have 2 of them. I remember you telling me like you got the first edition one, right? At like a thrift store or something. Very cool. Very cool. Are they different on the inside? Do they have the same? I mean, this is a stupid question, right? Do the same number of pages, the same? Would she have added anything? I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer. I should know the answer to this question since I love Diana Gabaldon. I should know if she's added anything. I follow her on Instagram or Facebook or somewhere. I follow her probably everywhere. I follow her everywhere, which is how I know she's writing the next one because she'll post little snippets of what she's writing. And I don't read them because I'm like, no, right, Tina? I don't read what's coming ahead. I don't read them. The mass market for Christmas. It was an Amazon special. All right. I love it so much. So yeah, Tina, think about it. Think about your cozy mystery, either like a super summery beachy one or a Christmas one, whichever like is your, if you have a favorite, and I'll put it on my list. Amazon wasn't special. Okay. And they're both like physical books, not like Kindle or e-reader. Yeah. Tina, I have another question for you. I know you read Slammed, but you didn't read the other 2 in the series, right? You didn't read Point of Retreat or This Girl, That Girl. You didn't read the other 2, right? Both physical books. And I'm curious why you didn't read the other 2 books. Were they not out yet when you read Slammed? Having a hot flash. Never continued with the Slammed, but you liked Slammed. So why did you not continue with the series? And do you think you will ever continue with the series? Because I just did the series last month, and I'm not sad that I did. I'm not sad about that at all. Right after I finished Lamb, I started book 2. Oh, yeah, that can be rough. I wasn't super attached to continue. You didn't care what happened to them after graduation. Maybe. Yeah, I feel like if you got a narrator that you didn't connect with, it would affect what you thought about the book. I guess that's why audiobooks are so tricky. Like for an author, you'd really have to find the right narrator. Stressful. Be stressful. Because yeah, it could make or break your entire book. Well, here's what I have to say. If you ever do continue, I think you'll like them. Like if you see the book, if you see the other 2 books at I don't know, a Goodwill or something, I think they'd be worth paying $1 for to read, because they are interesting. It is nice. I like a series because you can stay with the characters. And it is nice to get it from a different point of view, get the story from a different point of view. So if you see them, I wouldn't go out of my way for them. I enjoyed reading them. I probably won't read them again, but I enjoyed reading them. And I'm super looking forward to reading It Ends With Us and It Starts With Us. Stay tuned. Coming up later this month. I got 2 book club books to read before then. So The Candy House, I got to read for book club. And I'm not very far into it because I've just been reading it before I go to bed. And I've had to backtrack because some of it I don't understand. So I don't know if that's because I didn't read book number 1, or if it's because I'm not far enough into the world yet that the world has become real to me. So hopefully tonight I'll keep reading and it'll start making more sense. It's one of those books where the chapters also, this is always a little confusing for me at the beginning of books like this, but I love books like this. But when each chapter is a different character's story, a different character's storyline and a different character's point of view. And so a lot of it is I'm trying to figure out, okay, do these people know each other? And how do they know each other? And it's a little bit like Dickens. Who the heck is this person? I feel like I have to make a graph of everybody's names and who they are to each other, like a family tree sort of thing, except some of them are not family, they're friends. So it's a little bit confusing. Maybe I do need to make a family tree. That would be helpful. Anyway, so that's what I'm reading. All right, Tina, it looks like it's just you and me tonight. I hope Mika's okay. Have you heard from Mika? I haven't heard or seen Mika, so hopefully she's all right. Hopefully my friend Tanya is all right. But should we start our first reading sprint? How long does it take you to read a cozy mystery? 2 days? 4 hours? 5 hours? You saw Mika in sprints the other day. Okay, good, cool. She was doing good. We should go. All right, I'll set it for 25. And you're reading, right? You're not doing schoolwork. You're reading your cozy mystery called, I got to scroll back and see what it's called. Dun, 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 dun. A Dash of Death. Is it a cooking one? She's cooking and she throws in a dash of death into her recipe. 2 days. Yeah. Okay, good. So we got 25 minutes on the clock. On your mark, get set, go, go. Okay, wait a minute. I gotta pause for a second. Pause. A cocktail themed. Oh, I love that. Oh, when you finish it, let me know if I should read it, if you liked it, because I do like a cocktail. So a cocktail themed mystery might be kind of fun for me. All right. Tell me what you think. Are you going to finish it today or you're just starting it? And what's the cocktail? And does it have cocktail recipes in it? All of these are questions I need the answers to. All right, we'll talk at the break. I'm going to press resume. All right, here we go. All right, we are finished with our first sprint. And oh my gosh, I don't know how to figure this out. Hang on. Hide comments. Mika is here. Hey, Mika, how are you? I was wondering, I was like, oh, I wonder where Mika is. I hope she's okay. And Tina said, oh, I saw her earlier this week. So, yeah. Everyone says hi. 8% by Tina. I don't know how much I read. I read a whole chapter, which doesn't sound like very much, but yeah, it was good. I didn't have to reread anything. I feel like I'm starting to get into it. So yeah, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. Yeah. So it basically took me an entire section of the book to get into what in the world is going on. And I feel like I'm not into it enough to even be able to explain what in the world is going on. Other than there's some weird mind stuff. Like you can download your memories into like a server that other people can access and that you can access. And like there are like they've categorized people into like typicals, which I guess are like non-math people, and then like counters who are, I don't know. It's yeah, I'm confused. I'm not as confused as I was, but I'm too confused to be able to explain it just yet. Sounds alternatively frightening and kind of cool. Yeah. Anyway, how was your book? Dash of, oh, you've got a recommendation. Okay. My first cozy mystery, Live and Let Shy. Live and let shy. Live and let shy. All right, I'm going to write it down. Although it doesn't sound very summery or Christmassy. How did we pick this one? Live and let shy. All right. Ooh, Mika's reading Cursed. And it's a sequel. Oh, wait, is Gilded the one you read last week or 2 weeks ago? The one that's the Gatsby? Like take on Gatsby? Okay. I feel like the child characters, are not acting in a way that sounds genuine. I don't like that. I don't like it when characters like don't seem realistic to me. Like I get characters do things that I wouldn't do because people do things that I wouldn't do. But when I can't imagine a character doing something, I hate that. All right, it takes place in the Outer Banks. Majority of the series takes place during the summer. Okay. I've never been to the Outer Banks, but the last road trip my mom and I ever took, we listened to, oh my God, what was that book by Nicholas Sparks that became a movie with Kevin Costner and Diane Lane, maybe? And it takes place in the Outer Banks. That's random. Cozy books always have such cute titles. Mika, I totally agree. Tina's always coming in with like, this is what I'm reading today. And it's something that's like, oh, I love that. Totally agree. Oh, yes. And I did write that down. I have it right here. Oops, that's not it. I have it right here. The Chosen and the Beautiful. See, I get it right there. The Chosen and the Beautiful. I put it in my recommended library with your name on it. So now I got to stick Tina's in here. Let's see. Tina's recommendations. Sorry, I got to find it again now. Oh, Live and Let Shy. How can I forget that? Live and Let Shy. I'm going to have that song in my head and it's going to drive me crazy. Tina. Bree Baker. I also like that name. Do you think that's really her real name? Bree Baker. All right. It takes place on a boardwalk next to the beach, and the main character owns an iced tea shop. All right. I like a boardwalk by a beach. The beach in the town that I live has like a giant boardwalk. And so I can totally picture this happening. Okay, pretty dark fairy. Oh, what's the fairy tale? I love a fairy. Mika, you have all of these great books that are like retellings of fairy tales. I like fairy tale retellings, although you're right. They're all a little bit dark. The children were brutally murdered in the first book, and now they are ghosts, and they act all happy and bubbly. God, Mika, where do you get this? By the way, Mika, did you finish the spy novel and find out why the librarian was involved? No spoilers, but I'm curious, do you recommend it as like, we should read it? Bree Baker is a pen name. I thought it sounded too cutesy, although people are cutesy when they name their kids. I don't know. Okay. Yes, seriously, hello, trauma. I don't, brutally murdered. Oof. Come back as ghosts? Oof. I feel like we're about to start talking about the sounds of horror like we did last time. No, you haven't finished it yet. Okay. Now, have you not finished it because it got a little boring and dry, or just because you got busy, or because it's a giant 850-page book like Outlander? What are the reasons why you didn't finish the spy book? You guys are interesting to me because both of you, I think, read multiple books at the same time. That is a cozy mystery to me because I can't do it. Gilded and Cursed are based on several fairy tales and myths, like the Earl King. I don't know the Earl King. The Earl King, the Eric King. I don't even know what that word is. Mika, is that an English word? Tina, do you know that? The Earl King? Is that like a Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale? That all of his are like super dark. And Grimm's, they're very grim. I mean, I feel like I'm American, and so what I know is Disney, which isn't really fairy tales, and The Wizard of Oz, which also isn't really a fairy tale. I think reading multiple books at once makes it easier to read. Why? I feel like it would make it harder. Tell me why you think multiple books at once makes it easier. No, we don't know what that is, Mika. You got to tell us. Here in Germany, the myth is called Der Erlkönig, and every child grows up with a poem. Okay. Is it like, you may not know the answer to this, but is it like anything that we would know as Americans? Is it like a Disney movie? Any of the Disney movies? Is it like Hansel and Gretel? Is it like Little Red Riding Hood? Tina, help me out here. All right, Tina says, if you have more options, especially in different genres, whatever you're feeling in the moment, you can pick up. So you always have something that you want to read. But don't you get confused? Don't you lose like the thread of the story when you pick up a completely different book? When I read like novels and novellas, I need to listen to an audiobook because I struggle with reading. But I forget that you guys do the audiobook thing too. And we've talked about this before, the audiobook, where I feel like I gotta try that out. Maybe I'll do, Tina, maybe I'll do a couple of audiobooks this summer. Yeah. And try that out. Because I also, the thing that I worry about with audiobooks too is the same thing, that I'll lose the thread of it. Because I think like you, if I did an audiobook, I would also have a different physical book going at the same time. Because I can't see myself laying in bed at night listening to an audiobook. I feel like I would want to read in bed. But an audiobook, I could totally see myself like going on walks, going to the beach, reading at the beach, that kind of thing with an audiobook. But I worry that I won't be able to keep the thread of it when I'm bouncing back and forth. Maybe I should try your method and see what I think. It's a German myth that's not widespread in other countries. So, do you think we would understand the gilded and the other, we'd get the fairy tale retelling thread of the books that you're reading? Just, or would we be like, oh, this is just a good story? I never had two cozy mysteries at once. So maybe that would be, I'm curious. I don't want you to be confused, but I'm curious if we should try and test our theories. You test my theory that reading two books at the same time is confusing if they're like the same kind. And I'll test your theory that I can do an audiobook and have a physical book, two different things going at the same time. Oh, Tina poses a good question. Mika, are you participating in the summer reading challenge / book club? Yes, audiobooks while walking or cleaning, or what I do most of the time while playing Minecraft. You're a Minecraft girl. I used to teach English to little kids, and they were like all about the Minecraft. And I was like, I don't know what, I mean, I know what it is, but I don't really know what it is. But you can like, so you're a total multitasker. You can do the playing of a game and the listening to an audiobook. Yeah. At the same time. Okay, here we go. Mika's telling us the tale. The Earl King. In the poem, a father is riding home with his small child in his lap. Okay, bad things are going to happen here. Is there like a horse and buggy situation? The child says, Father, do you not see is it Earl King? ERLKING? Do you not see the Earl King there? And the father, oh, the Earl King is like a demon? And the father says, no, it's just a shadow or the wind and all that kind of stuff. Oh no, I feel like it's already too scary. We've talked about this, Mika. I don't like the scary books. Do you not see the Earl King? Does the Earl King come and like kidnap the boy? In the end, the child cries, Father, he's touching me. Oh my God. And the father races home. But when he gets there, the child is dead. You know what? I don't know this exact fairy tale, but there is something like this that when I was a kid, this was a giant fear, right? Tina, have you heard of this? Because I feel like all of a sudden you're bringing out like this childhood memory of like, we see like something and we're afraid of it. And we tell our, like for me, it would be my mom. And she was like, oh, it's nothing. Like, what are you talking about? I don't see anything. You're making it up. And then like, he's touching me, and you're super frantic and scared. And so your mom races home and like that. Yes, 100%. It's spooky. But that little tale is like jogging something back in my little girl memory of there is a similar sort of story or something that I know back in the recesses of my brain about that. Tina, is any of that sounding familiar? Yeah. Yeah. Stories where children see things that adults can't. And then the invisible thing keeps like tormenting the child until the child dies. It's awful. It's an awful story. There's a plot line in Buffy the Vampire Slayer like that. I never watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And my guess is you're watching it on like reruns now, like reruns of reruns. So, fun story about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. One of my good friends won an Emmy Award for Best Makeup Artist. He did like the makeup, the special effects makeup on Buffy and the Vampire Slayer, and he won an Emmy for it. Fun story. So that's really all I know about Buffy the Vampire Slayer, is that my friend Tom did the makeup and did really well at the makeup because he got an Emmy for it. But yeah, I don't know. That's a creepy. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm not doing that challenge, but I'm doing the Escape the Readathon. What's that about? Maybe we'll do that one too. Escape the Readathon. How many books can we possibly read in 1 month? I mean, I feel like I just want to keep joining book clubs. Somebody else is starting another book club in my exact city. And I'm like, well, it'd be stupid to not join that book club because it's here in my own town. But I'm definitely not leaving the book club that I, take a train an hour, because I love them. And they're like for real book people who read the book and talk about the book. And they're book people. They're not just socializers. So I'm not leaving that book club. But I'm literally like, I know someone who used to be a little bit famous. Yeah. I took oh God, how many years ago now? Like in 2009, maybe. I took a special effects makeup class for a week. I took a week's vacation from my job. And instead of like going somewhere, traveling somewhere, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something. I'm going to have an experience, right? And I'm going to take a class, something that I've never done before, something completely like out of character, out of like whatever. And I don't know how I saw this. This was long before Facebook ads, but it would have been something like there was a I don't know how I found out about this special effects makeup class, but I thought it sounded super cool. So I signed up for it and paid like my tax return money to go to this class for a week at a super fancy hotel in Midtown Manhattan. And it was Tom Supernaut was the instructor, and we did all kinds of stuff. So that's how I met him. He taught my class and we became friends. And he was like, this is like the biggest compliment of my special effects makeup career, which lasted, I did have a special effects. I did one movie. I don't know whatever happened in the movie, but I did work on an independent film. But his compliment, he was like, Vivian, if you ever want to do this, I would love to have you like on my set as part of my crew. I never did, but Tom was born in where you were born. Do you know Tom Supernaut? He is the coolest guy. Like, yeah, he's the coolest guy. He's had a rough year, but I love him. So, yeah. Mika, what's this escape the readathon? What is that? Do I have to look that up? You're going to tell us. Because maybe now Tina and I have to join another thing. Oh my goodness. Oh, ladies, I don't know where my fan is. It must be out in my living room. You get me all hot, excited talking about this stuff. So yeah, for the makeup class, we learned how to do like fantastical creatures. We learned how to do like gory kind of stuff. We learned how to do, what else did we learn? Oh, we learned how to do, we didn't do any beauty because in special effects, no one is beautiful. Although I will say the one I did like a little fairy elf, and I thought she was quite beautiful. It's happening in May. It's a haunted house theme. Oh, so it's a May challenge. It's May 3rd. Is it too late to join a May challenge? What do you think, Tina? We've both got our books picked. Haunted house theme. Mika, is that why you're reading that scary Earl King story with the ghosts and the children who got like murdered and came back as ghosts and they're haunting the house? Does Layla count as a haunted house theme book? It's a readathon where people are divided into teams. What? Ooh, that's a cool readathon. Okay, so they're divided into teams. They try to escape a haunted house. When everybody reads enough, they can open doors and stuff. All right, I gotta figure out how to do that kind of readathon. And maybe if I can figure it out, I could do something like that in like October. You can read whatever you want. It's very chill. Oh, okay. Okay. So you read whatever books you want, but the doors that you unlock and everything is in a house that's like a haunted house. Okay. I kind of like that. Escape a haunted whenever you're reading, they open doors and stuff. I like this. I'm going to look at this. I think that's kind of cool. I wonder how you divide people into teams, though. I got to look this up. This is very cool. They have 20 people. Yeah. That's what I'm like. I wonder how you figure this out. Well, you have a team of 20 people figuring it out. All right, Mika, you're on my team. Let's figure this out. That sounds very cool, though. All right, someday when I have enough technological wizardry that I can do 20 people. Oh, no. I'm eating little bits of chocolate, and I seem to have dribbled some bits of chocolate on my pants, and they melted onto my pants. And so now I basically have brown all over my lap, which means that when I leave the house tonight, I cannot wear these pants because it looks like something bad happened in my lap. Oh my goodness. All right. So should we get back to reading? Tina, you're going to go back to Live or Let Chai? No, that's the book you want me to read. You're reading The Cocktail. Hang on. It's going to be in my head. Dash of Death. Tina's reading Dash of Death. Are you going to keep reading that one, Tina? Dash of Death. I'm going to keep reading The Candy House. And Mika, you're still reading the scary ghost, Children of the Ghost story. Should we read for another 25? Are you guys ready? Ready, ready, ready. Ready, ready, ready. Tina's reading Dash of Death. Good, good. Get something to eat. I know, I might run out and refill my coffee cup. So if I'm not here when you come back, I'm coming back. I'm just in the kitchen getting another coffee. Don't worry. We are not finished with this. All right. Mika says, okay. All right. Let me get my alarm. 25 minutes. Ding, ding, ding. All right. You ready? Get set. Go. Oh my gosh, I'm starting to understand this book. A key component of my book just became clear because the year in my book is either 2024 or 2025, or maybe even later. So it's in the future, but not the too far away future. And let me tell you, girls, the future in this book is a little bit like it could actually be the future. Makes me a little nervous. I don't know. So, how are you guys doing? What has happened in your world? Tell me, tell me. Nothing. Got something to eat and watched YouTube. All right. That's a plan. Mika, did you watch anything good? I noticed when I went to get my tea that the sun has come out, which is nice because I got to go to the supermarket. I got no food. That's why I'm eating bits of chocolate. What? Okay. The main protagonist is married to the Earl King, but not by choice, clearly. Pregnant by someone else? What the heck book is this? Or like, what's going on in your book? This sounds like there's a lot going on in your book. Are you having trouble keeping everybody organized like I am? Oh my God. I've never read a book set in the future, but close enough then that I'll be alive. I know. That's, I think, why I was so confused at the beginning, because so much of it seemed like contemporary. And so I was like, okay, maybe this is just a like an alternate universe kind of world where, like, I don't know. But no, it's like a couple of years in the future. So yeah, that explains why I'm a little bit confused. I should say no more if you ever want to read it. Don't give away any spoilers. Are you liking it though? Is it like so far worth the read? You recommend it or you're not so sure? I think, is it scary? I worry about girls that have to get married to people they don't want to get married to, and then they're pregnant by somebody else. I worry about these women. I plan on this month through reading Naked in Death by J.D. Robb. It takes place in the future. Oh, all right. That'll be interesting. So you can see what life is like, maybe, in J.D. Robb's future for you. The book I'm reading, oh, Mika, what's the book you're reading? Yeah, because I keep calling it the Earl King, but that's not it. The protagonist is just an ordinary miller's daughter, but her father was blessed by a god, and like often in fairy tales, that's a mixed blessing. Yeah. Yeah, like in Addie LaRue, right? A mixed blessing, which was actually a curse, maybe. Tina Cursed by Marissa Meyer, the sequel to Gilded. Like the first volume, Cursed, is very, very creative. And I really like the writing style. I love authors that their writing style, like I just can get into. So yeah, you got to read everything you can by them. I feel like Gilded and Cursed. So it wasn't Gilded wasn't the one we talked about, but I feel like I've heard of Gilded before. Maybe you mentioned it before. The children, as I said, they're too unaffected by the terrible things that have happened to them. It seems very unlikely. Do you think they don't remember, like that somehow their memory is wiped clean of it? Because I feel like if I was brutally murdered, I would not want to have any memory of it at all. Like sometimes I think if something truly, like, would you want to survive something truly terrible like that? Or, I mean, or would it be better, like the trauma of it all? Like you said earlier, yeah, the trauma of it would be, I think you would have to just wipe it out of your head, which gets me to my book, where like there is apparently in the next couple of years in this person's future world, 24, 25, 2024, 2025, there's an app that you can download all of your memories to, and then it will erase your bad memories. It will erase memories that you don't want to have. I don't know if I'd be into that, but they do seem to remember, and they definitely hate the Earl King. Well, good, but they're laughing and running around and dancing. I mean, life, if you're alive, although they're not alive, they're ghosts. So which one of these ghost children is the one who's married to the man she doesn't want to be married to and pregnant by another man? Pregnant by man number 3? This sounds complicated. No, the protagonist is not a child, thankfully. Okay, good. Good, because that would be a whole different kind of creepiness. When was the book you're reading written? Because that's very off from the future we are living. I don't know that it's that far off because I've been reading a lot of stuff lately about AI and it is scary. All right, let me look at this and see what year this was published. Let's see. This is book 2. Where do I learn more? I can't even read this. Like my eyes are so bad. Where's my glasses? Let's see. Let's see. How do I find out? That's the description. Book 2 of 2. But how do I know? Oh, hang on. Let me go to the copyright page. I can do that. Go to beginning. Okay, so the copyright is, where's the copyright? Scrivener. Where's the freaking copyright? Go to copyright. Okay. 2022. So it's only a year old. And I'm telling you, AI, like, it would not surprise me if all of this did come true in a couple of years because AI is just going like that. It's very creepy to me. Oh, the children lived in the village and the Earl King took them to punish her. Oh my gosh. 2058, so you would be 53. All right, don't give yourself extra years. Not when you're in your 50s. Oh, so that was quite a bit farther into the future, like really making things up maybe. So I wonder how, like if the stuff that he wrote in 1995 about 2058, how close we are to that now, or if it's still like super far away. Like, how like things take a long time to happen, but then they happen all at once. I'm curious what his 1995, because in 1995 we barely had the internet, right? People barely had, I don't think I even had, I might have just had an email address in 1995. So I'm curious what he thinks the future looks like. You'll have to tell us what JD Robb thinks. I'm pretty sure Naked in Death has a very AI future or magical. I think there's mind reading. Yeah, I am so curious because, yeah, the internet, like the World Wide Web, would have been pretty new. Like, I don't think I even had in 1995, like if it was published in 95, he probably wrote it in 93, 94, right? I don't think I had an email address until like 95, maybe. And even then, like I didn't really know why I had an email address or what to do with it. So it's pretty grim. Yeah, it sounds grim. Kids getting murdered and then kidnapped to punish other people, and blessings and curses. And is it grim for everyone, Mika, or is it just grim for the women and the female characters? Yeah, I didn't have internet in 1995. Yeah, I didn't either. Like, I don't even think they were handing out those AOL dial-up discs back in 95. I had to go to, like I was working at Georgia Tech and I had to go into their computer lab, which I still was in that phase of I'm never going to use a computer in my life. Like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. Like, computers, I'm never going to use this. Here we are, the three of us using our computers in completely different countries on completely different continents. I mean, yeah, in 1995, we didn't have this. JD Robb is a pen name for Nora Roberts. Yeah, we've talked about this before. I think I got my first computer in 96 or 97. I got my first computer in 97 or 98 because I remember it was when I moved to Ohio. I bought this giant, like, desktop computer, um, and still hardly ever used it. I would type things on it, like type letters, maybe. I don't know. And I remember the dial up. Yeah. So when Nora JD was writing the book about 2058, the internet really, nobody knew about the internet. So I feel like that could be a very cool book to see how right she got things. I'm not sure what she thinks for the future and what it looks like today based on what she wrote. I'm so curious. I might have to go and read that. I might have to go pull it just to see, like, I know we're still quite a ways away from where she thought, but I'm curious if we're even headed in the same direction. How could she have even imagined like what we have today with respect to the internet? Like Facebook, none of that existed. So I'm curious what she imagined the future looking like. All right, so, oh my God, so here we've got, we're talking about the future, 2058, and the internet. And then we're going back to whatever time Mika's book is in with the miller and the cobbler and like the olden times, I think. Mika, what is your book in, like the olden times? All right, it's grim for everybody, but the nobility, of course. All right, well, not counting the ones. Did the Earl King murder the nobility too? Good Lord, the Earl King is everywhere. I remember that 1 hour of internet. Yes, Cost like 6 or 7 Deutschmarks, and I could not afford more than 2 hours per week. I was a bookseller's apprentice with a very small wage. Yes. And did you have to like put it wasn't even a floppy disk. It was like a hard, like a CD. You had to put that into your computer and it would dial up. Yeah. I mean, even in 2008, when I went to Italy, I didn't have, I didn't take a laptop with me. I didn't even have a smartphone. Like, I didn't have any of that. And when I wanted to go and like send an email to friends back in the US, which I hardly ever did, 2008, we barely used this. I I had to go to like an internet cafe. Do you remember those? The internet cafe. And that's where you were able to like use the internet. And yeah, it cost like, I feel like it was €1 for 10 minutes on the internet. And so I would go in and I'd be like, I have 10 minutes to send an email, quick. Alyssa, hello, welcome, welcome. We're talking about the past and the future and the internet and whatever. Weren't you reading the garden book and it was Portuguese? How did it go? Yes, I'm still reading the garden book in Portuguese. I'm just reading a chapter a week, which will get me finished with the book in August. No, finished with the book like right Thanksgiving week, so that I'm done with it before Christmas, before the holiday season. That's my goal. So it's a chapter a week. I'm reading it. It's actually super cool because I noticed I read some more of it over the weekend on Sunday. I read my chapter for the week. And what was cool about it is it took me back, like when I was a little girl and I would read books, I sort of read a lot of books I read were like over my reading level, over grade level. And so I didn't know what a lot of things meant. But I would read along and read along and read along and sort of get the gist of it. But then when there was something that I was like, I'm not getting the gist of it, I'd be like, hey, mom, what does this word mean? And she would tell me, and I'd be like the whole story would then open up for me. And I would be like, I'm just like Anne of Green Gables or like whoever it was that I was reading. And I'm sort of having that same experience reading this book in Portuguese. Like I'm going along, getting the gist. And then there's parts that I'm like, what's happening here? I'm not getting it. So I'll do a little like translate and I'm like, oh my God, I'm totally Cassandra. I love this woman. And it's kind of cool doing it, reading it in Portuguese. Thanks for asking. The modem sound. The dial-up, right? Meek, I didn't have a smartphone until a few years ago. I know. I was like a late adapter to the smartphone thing. I miss an answering machine. Did you have an answering machine? We used to like run home to be like, did anybody try to call me and leave me a message? Yes, the internet cafes. Oh, Tina's like, I knew the internet wasn't super accessible back then, but I didn't know how rare it was. Yeah, totally rare. Like nobody knew what it was. No, like it was like nothing. Nobody knew. In Twilight, there's a lot of scenes where she's using the internet, having to like do what you did in 2005. Yes. And sometimes it took a really long time to connect, and sometimes it never connected. And sometimes you paid all of this money to connect, and it never connected. And that was like, you're out of all of the money. Oh, the internet. And that was not that long ago. That's what's so crazy. All right, speaking of AI and languages, I asked ChatGPT to write me stories in easy Norwegian with comprehension questions and a vocabulary list, and that's awesome. Should I do that in Portuguese? Maybe I should. Easy stories, like A1 level stories. I'm going to do that. Mika, that's a great idea. Totally a great idea. I'm totally doing it. The internet was never not accessible to me. We had a family computer growing up, and I got my first smartphone in the fourth grade. Yeah, yeah. I feel like Mika and I, we were living in the olden times. Alyssa, what's your history with the internet? Like, I don't know how old you are. Like growing up, did you have the internet? Did you not have the internet? We like, here's how old I am. I grew up and we didn't even have like, I mean, here's how old I am. You know, like, have you heard of a VCR? Have you even heard of a VCR? Um, like where you put video cassettes in, like Blockbuster Video. You go and rent a video, you put a cassette tape into a machine, and you can watch a movie, a VCR. My family, we lived with my grandparents, and when the very first VCRs came out, there were two different kinds you could choose from. And nobody knew, even at the store, the people that sold them were like, we don't know if the big videotapes are going to be the ones that take off or if the little videotapes are going to be the ones that take off. And you needed a different player for both. And so, of course, my family chose the wrong one. So we had this like VCR that we couldn't ever get videotapes to use because Blockbuster did the big video cassettes and my family had the little cassette player. I don't know. Mika was born in 76. So when she was in fourth grade, no internet, no smartphones. Mika, what did you have in the fourth grade? You probably had like books. We've had books in the fourth grade. Alyssa, I hope the work works out for you. What have you been reading today? So Alyssa, what I'm reading today is The Candy House by Jennifer Egan. And it's what sort of started us on this conversation about like the future and different things, because I was confused about the book because it seems super contemporary, but it's also this like weird world where like you can download your memories to an app or something. Like it's confusing to me. But then I was reading and it's like 2 years in the future. Like I'm like 7 chapters in now. And I finally realized, like, they finally gave a date. They were like, oh, in the past year, it was 2024. And I'm like, oh, so we are in the future. So we started talking about like, what do we think it's going to be like in the future? And like, whatever. That's where we are. So I'm reading The Candy House. Yeah, Mika, I'm totally going to try it because if it can write me like an A1 level story and give me vocabulary list, I'll be like the happiest girl. I may never read a book again. I'm just going to read like AI stories in Portuguese. Fourth grade, Alyssa had Nokia phones. The flip phones. That is awesome. Snake just became a huge hit. All right, fourth grade. All Tina's siblings are significantly older than she is. The closest one to me was born in 1998. So they are also around for the internet not being around. Yeah. You guys grew up in like the age of the internet, in the age of like video games and things like that. Yeah, we didn't have that when I was a kid. Like Space Invaders maybe was the one that we had when we could go. And it wasn't a video game. It was like a when you go on vacation and you stay in the motel and they have like the big games that are in the game room at the hotel. All right, Mika says fourth grade books and cassette tapes with children's stories. Yes, always getting stuck on the recorder. And then they would like, when you went to pull them out, the tape would stretch out and then they were ruined. And then your grandma would yell at you for ruining the tape. Oh, Alyssa, you've read this. Have you read The Candy House? And no, I did not read the first book first. I am reading The Candy House because my book club is reading it this month. And I don't think we knew that it was part of a series when it got chosen, and I didn't know anyway. So no, I didn't read the first book. And I feel like I should maybe go and read the first book, but I don't have time because of book club is coming up. So I probably will read the first book after this one, and it'll be like a prequel, right? It's the Star Wars prequel. I don't know. But yeah, so I feel like that's one of the reasons why I was super confused, because there's all this language that they kept using at the beginning and I didn't know what they were talking about, right? Counters and typicals, and like they were saying stuff that I didn't know. Alyssa, did you like the Candy House? I'm curious. And did you read the Goon Squad first and then you read the Candy House? Tina, also this month is middle grade ma'am, so maybe middle grade Portuguese books to help you learn. Yeah, I need the reason why this like Mulheres Que Compram Flores came into my life is because I had been reading like children's books because that's basically the level that I could read easily, but they were children's books. And I was like, I want something that like a grown up would read. And I don't know enough how to navigate like a middle grade in the one bookstore in our town that would sell. I mean, it's not a Barnes and Noble by any means, but it definitely has like, it's more like what a bookstore that you would find in an airport. That's kind of what it reminds me of, like a bookstore like you would have. So it does have like sections, but the selection is not great. But yeah, a middle grade would be probably perfect for me, but I still wanted like a grown-up thing. All right, Alyssa, I haven't read The Candy House. The Candy House had a book and a novella written before it. It's the Goon Squad series, yeah, but it's sci-fi contemporary from what I'm seeing. It's, yes, which is why I was confused because it's sort of like futuristic, but it's so contemporary. I was like confused about the world for a while. I didn't know it was a book and a novella before it. Yeah, when I downloaded The Candy House to my Kindle, I was like, oh, wait a minute. It's the second book in a series. And then I just didn't have time. I don't think I had time to read the first book before my book club. So I dove in to The Candy House, and here we are talking about your Nokia flip phone from 1994. I didn't know that either. And I do already own The Candy House. Yeah. But you haven't read it, Mika, right? You haven't read it. Well, Mika, do you have the other one? Do you have the Goon Squad and the other one? I always check Goodreads because 99% of the time it'll show series. Yeah, as soon as I went to download it, it said it was in a series. And I mean, I literally, I'm only reading this. I only heard of it because it's in my book club. Otherwise, I don't think I would have even known anything about this book. So yeah, I kind of, so it's what happens when you don't pay attention. Oh, well, no. What I mean, you read the book that's for book club, right? And if I had looked at it, whatever. Yeah, I messed this one up, but I think I'm doing all right with it now that I'm like sort of getting the hang of what's going on. I'm getting the hang of it. Alyssa, did you like the Goon Squad? Did you read it? And then why, if you did like it, why are you going to read Candy House? Like, what are your thoughts? I have Manhattan. So Manhattan Beach is the novella one, and the Goon Squad is the novel. You have Manhattan Beach, but not the Goon Squad. Haven't read either of them. So you're missing one. I'm missing two. And I love that I started at the end. Typical. Oh, I want to tell you, I found 2 in-person book clubs. There's a library close to us than the library we normally go to, but I haven't been there yet. Did you join the book club? Oh my gosh, Tina, that's so cool. I love my book clubs. I read nothing of it. Both book clubs are 18 and up. Oh, and you have to get permission to join. So once I turn 18, I'm going to go to the library. When do you turn 18? Tina, I think you could start your own book club with like other people your age. I think, and you could probably meet at the library. The librarian would probably help you do that too. I think Manhattan Beach is unrelated. Okay, it's just the same author. And it's futuristic. Okay, here we go. Alyssa is laying it out for us. Book 1, A Visit from the Goon Squad. Book 1.5, Black Box. Book 2, The Candy House. I love it. Book 1.5. So I'm really far behind. Like a lot has happened before we get to my book in 2024, but they keep going back in time. So, oh my gosh, now I'm literally now going to have to go get the Goon Squad and Black Box. Probably immediately after I finish this. June 3rd. Okay, you don't have too long to wait. 1 month from today. Is June 3rd what day is June 3rd? Is it a Wednesday? We'll have a party. I'll make a cake. Let me see. When is June 3rd? Oh my gosh, I hope it's a Wednesday now. Hang on, where's June? June. June 3rd is a Saturday, which is awesome for you. You can have like a really cool June party on Saturday. And go to a book club. All right, when they label it a 0.5, it's usually a novella, which means it's shorter and it might be easier to read, but it's also kind of like a side book, right? I only say that because I know that with Outlander, I haven't read any of the novellas because I've been like so focused on the actual books. And there are so many novellas that I feel like if I go down an Outlander novella path, I will never, ever read any other book written by anybody else. So I have to draw the line at an Outlander novella. Because I can't, there are too many other books I want to read. Manhattan Beach is a historical novel, so completely different. Huh. Yeah, historical, like in the past. 1934 in Chicago with all of the gangsters and the flapper girls. This is how I picture 1934 Chicago. It's the Gatsby. That's how I picture 1934 Chicago. Gatsby and the movie Chicago. Oh, correction. It's a novelette. I have never heard of a novelette. Shorter than a novella, but longer than a short story. A novelette. And it's in that Goon series. This is curious to me then. Curious to me. I might really have to pick that up. New York, not Chicago. Ooh, 1930s New York. That's like Al Capone kind of stuff. I don't know. Oh my gosh. I love this whole conversation. All right, Alyssa, are you reading something tonight? I feel like, do you guys want to go for one more sprint? Or are we done? We're just going to sit and talk for another like 20 minutes. Whatever you guys want to do. I can do some more reading if you guys want to read. We can chit chat for a little bit more, or we can like be done. I have to be done by 8 because I need to hit the supermarket before it closes because I don't have I don't care so much about not having food for dinner tonight. What I care about is not having cream to put in my coffee in the morning. I must have cream for my coffee. So we got to finish by 8 so I can get to the supermarket before it closes. It does have to do with gangsters. Yes, that's like the 1930s. We're full of gangsters and flapper girls, at least in my mind, and Nazis, right? My Wi-Fi turned off. Tina, are you having internet problems? Mika and I completely understand. All right, Alyssa is in the middle of Fingersmith by Sarah Waters. It's a British gay historical thriller. Oh my God, all of us are in like crazy time periods. We're all about the past and the future. Are you liking it, Alyssa? It's 600 pages. I've been trying to read 100 a day. Yeah, so it's another big one like the Outlander ones that are huge. How's it going 100 a day? Mika, do you know this one? Okay, Tina says we can read or we cannot. We could do a shorter sprint. Okay. Shorter, like 15 minutes? Like 5 minutes? Mika, do you know this Fingersmith that Alyssa's reading? I don't know it. I'm loving it. Ooh, it's got a twist. Now, when you say historical, like how far back in time are you going? When I was still part of David Bowie's online club, look at you. He once recommended Fingersmith to us, so of course we all had to read it. All right, and did you love it, Mika? David Bowie. Okay, we're talking all kinds of celebrities tonight too. David Bowie, Tom Supernaut, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. How many twists are there, Mika? Don't tell us. We don't want to know. Just you wait. All right, maybe I got to read this one now. I got to write this one down. Fingersmith. Alyssa, who's the author? Fingersmith. Fingersmith by. I like a good twist, and I like historical. Medium paced. All right. I do like a good twist. And I do love historical. Sarah Waters. Yeah, you said that. Sarah Waters. It's big though, 600 pages. But if it's good, I'm in. I don't mind it being long. Oh, Mika loved it. It's having and twisted, and the protagonist is deeply flawed, but you still root for her. Oh, I love it. The audiobook is 24 hours, and on 3 times speed, it still feels long. 24 hours is a long time to listen to something. I wonder how long it would take to read it. I feel like it's that. Now, Tina, you're the pro on this. Alyssa, you can weigh in too. If an audiobook is 24 hours and you're also, so you're listening to the audiobook, but then you're physically reading another book, right? A different book. Is it too confusing to be bouncing back and forth? Because the audiobook is really taking like time to get through. Is it too much? Whatever. Oh, okay. I'm definitely reading this one because Mika says the ending will blow you out of the water. I did not see it coming. That is probably like the highest praise I feel like you could give a book. The ending of the synopsis is, but nothing is as it seems in this Dickensian novel of thrills and reversals. Oh my God. And the end, you don't see it coming. Oh, you do both of them together and they sync up. Like you can easily find Like where you leave off on the audiobook, you can easily find it then when you go to read the book. That's how I read 3 times speed. But don't they sound like they're talking like this? Do they sound funny like this when they're talking and reading? 3 times speed is really high. Right? No? So it should take 8 hours for me to read. But are they talking weird? Does it sound like, do you get the voices and the everything? I guess you guys are pros at the super fast audio listening. All right, Tina says it doesn't make me confused when one book is longer, but it can be annoying because I'll be reading that book while I'm finishing other books alongside it. Like reading a really long book and then you keep picking up other books and finishing them before you're even halfway through that one is annoying. Yeah. Because you'd be like, why is it taking me so long to finish this book? I understand it because I'm following along in the physical as well. Alyssa, when do you read these? Like, what are you doing while you're listening to the audiobook? Are you walking? Are you exercising? Are you cleaning the house? Are you playing Minecraft? What are you doing while you're listening to the audiobook? Yeah, I would think it would sound kind of weird. People talking like this and really, really fast. Yeah. I wish back then I'd thought to say Bowie's thoughts on Fingersmith. Really? He was very excited. I'm curious about what his thoughts were. Do you remember any of them other than he was like raving about it and telling you all to read it? Don't tell me his thoughts. I haven't read the book yet. And Alyssa's in the middle of it. I retract my question. I have all day. I sit at a desk and wait for the phone to ring. Oh, are you at work, Alyssa? How often does the phone ring? Speaking of phones, do you guys remember answering machines? I bet Tina doesn't. Tina, did your family ever have an answering machine? Do you even know what that is? All right, what do you guys think? Should we read it? Should we do a shorter reading sprint? Like, so it's 20 after 7. Should we do like, what should we do? Tina remembers answering machines. All right, I miss answering machines. If it doesn't intrigue anyone yet, there's over 100,000 ratings for it on Goodreads, and it's still over 4 stars. Yeah, that does say something. Although a lot of people are wrong sometimes, which is one of the reasons why I'm like, ooh, I got to take Goodreads with like a grain of salt. But for a book to have that many ratings on it and still be over 4 stars, it does mean that a lot of people like it. Because you know that in there's a whole bunch of people that hated it. So yeah, that says a lot about it. You're more or less barged in and started with Fingersmith. Read it. And then a lot about the atmosphere and the twists and the dense writing. What people don't know about Bowie, he loves to read a lot. Yeah, I feel like the more, I mean, they say this, right? That like the leaders of the world are readers. And so like all of these people who are famous for all of these other reasons, I feel like they credit a lot of why they're so good at what they do to the fact that they read, right? Like it feeds your creativity and it feeds your imagination. And I mean, I guess we need that in leaders. We need intelligence and imagination and the ability to like imagine other worlds and other experiences. So go readers. We run the world. Who runs the world? Yeah. We had a house phone growing up, and we still do because we live in the middle of nowhere and cell service doesn't really work. Oh, Tina, this does my heart good that you're experiencing a little bit of the olden days. All right, Tina says, let's do a shorter sprint. All right, Tina, what do you think? Like 15 minutes? Is 15 minutes like a good, because that gets us to about 20 till, uh, and we can then chit chat for a little bit before I got to say goodbye. So what do you guys think? 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes? Everybody's on board for 15? I'm on board for 15. Although for 2 minutes of the 15, I might need to run to the restroom quickly. Tina says 15 is good. All right. Let me set the timer. I'll set it for 15. I'm gonna run to the bathroom and then I'll be right back here with you reading along. Tina, are you reading? You eating? You checking your answering machine? Actually, 15 is probably good because I think I'll be able to finish another chapter. I was like right in the middle of a chapter when we stopped the last time. So, all right, let me set this for 15. All right, are you guys ready? On your mark, get set, go. See you in 15. Okay, that's 15 minutes. Did that go fast? It did go fast. It went fast for me. But I did finish my chapter, which is good. Because I feel like it's an unfolding, like I'm learning more about this world. And apparently it's actually taking place after 2025 because like it does keep going back in time, giving dates of when things happened. So maybe it's 2026, 7, 8, 9, 10, 30, 2010, 2010 is 2030. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm liking it and it seems pretty cool. All right. Made my mom a sandwich. I wonder if I should have a sandwich for dinner. I could buy like sandwich stuff. That would be easy enough to eat. I mostly need the cream for my coffee tomorrow morning. Red, 6%. Dash of death. Has the person died already? Have they gotten their dash of death? Just a dash of death. Oh my gosh. All right, I think we lost. Maybe Alyssa's on the phone. I don't know. I don't know where Mika is either. Maybe we lost them all. Oh, there's Mika. She was finishing her chapter, maybe. My story twists and turns, but oof, the Earl King is the worst. Yeah, well, I feel like you maybe knew that going in. This Earl King character, is it scary, your story? Like, is it scary? Oh, they die at the very beginning. Okay. Or they are murdered at the very beginning. I was on thrift books. Are you shopping, Alyssa? Are you buying some books? There's a cocktail themed mystery, more of a bitters theme. Yeah. You know, bitters, since we're talking about this, one of my favorite drinks to have is called an old fashioned. And it's like some bitters and a little lump of sugar and some whiskey. And bitters, can't buy bitters in this country. So means that I can't make old fashions. And that's not really true because I could order from like Amazon Spain or Amazon Denmark, even, right? I could order bitters and have them delivered. So, but I just don't. I'm not much of an ordering things for delivery because then it means I have to be home when they're delivered. And I feel like I never want to be home. Well, one, I never know when they're being delivered. So I never really know when to be home. And I don't want to stay home all the time. So hence, I don't have any bitters to make my cocktail. I'm glad the book didn't make him one of those dark romantic villains. Yeah, yeah. It is true. It's pretty common in fantasy to have the worst people be the love interest. Yeah. And I'm always like, what is this about? I got a problem with bad people being like the love interest in stories. But here, let's just say he did not marry Cyrilda because he's in love. Okay. Did he marry her because she's having a baby that isn't his? Main character's journalist and she likes to make bitters and cocktails. I'm pretty sure as the series progresses, she makes a catering company where she uses the bitters she makes. Does she tell you how to make the bitters? Because maybe I could learn how to make some bitters on my own. You don't like ordering things. My mom is always ordering things. I don't like ordering things. I feel like probably because I didn't grow up doing that. And then when I lived in New York, I mean, everything was like I would get it on the way home, right? I never even ordered pizza for delivery in New York, right? Because I'm just like, oh, well, I'll just pick it up on my way home. And just the whole ordering and having something delivered to my door is not, I just never, it's not something I ever got into. I know I'm like the weirdest person that way. I'm just the weirdest person like that. I would much rather go to a physical store and buy something um, than order it online, and like maybe I don't like what arrives and then I have to figure out how to return it, and then it's a hassle, so I don't. And then I've wasted money buying something that I don't really like. I don't know. I'm weird about the ordering. I'm so weird about it. My friends all make fun of me because I'm so weird about it. It's complicated. Yeah, the Erkling does sound quite complicated. When we lived in the city, we had to be home for deliveries because we were afraid people were going to steal it. Yeah. And so in Manhattan, they won't even like leave it a lot of times. They'll take it like a couple times when I did have to have things delivered, or people would send me stuff and they would send it UPS. UPS like wouldn't leave it, right? And they take it to a warehouse that's like way out in Queens on the border of Long Island that nobody without a car can get to, right? So I could never get it, and it was always like awful. Not yet. I haven't seen her make them. Maybe there's a recipe. We'll keep reading. You'll let me know, Tina. I don't even know what bitters are, but I know that like they're required to make my cocktail. But there's a table next to our driveway where the people put the packages and we don't have to worry about them getting stolen. Well, that's good. I love that you have a table next to your driveway for packages. The Earl King has his own agenda, and she tries to secretly work against him. And they're both lying to each other. But just when I think this is kind of light, oh my God, just when I think this is kind of lighthearted, he breaks her fingers. Yeah, he's a bad man, I guess. And she seems like now she's an abused woman, but she can't leave, right? Because it's the olden days. Or is she under a spell? Or does she like love him? Like, does she like being married to him? I don't know. He's breaking her fingers. How could you like that? I don't know. Mika has a bench in front of her house where the delivery people put packages. But you can't see the bench or the packages from the street. I don't have anything like that. I live in an apartment building in Portugal, and I don't think anyone will steal anything. The problem I have here is with the post office delivering things, like even important things like my residence card. They twice, like once they lost it, completely lost it. I went to they're like, yeah, we delivered it. And I'm like, no, you didn't. I'm like, you maybe put it in somebody else's mailbox, maybe did something, didn't deliver it. And then 2 more times they were like, yeah, we sent it back. I'm like, why? Why would you do that? Like, why not like call me, leave one of those like postcards that says we tried to deliver a package to your house and you can go pick it up here, right? Yeah. So a bench would not work, table would not work. I feel like the one thing I did have to do is I had an important insurance document sent to my friend's house because the postman does deliver to her. So she's cursed. So she can't get out. Yeah, she hates him, but she's trapped with him because she's under that blessing curse thing. I hate when the delivery guys never even ring the bell and you check online and it says that nobody was home. Yeah. It's because we have a long driveway and they'd have to walk around the house to like get to your door. Oh, and they're fine just leaving it there. Mail doesn't come to our address either because we live across the creek. So we have a P.O. box at the post office for mail, but most of 75% of the packages go to the house. I've thought actually about looking into a P.O. box, but it just seems easier. I don't get any mail. Everything that any kind of like mail that I get is online. It just was really annoying with my residency card. And it's also, I feel like it's going to be annoying with my driver's license, my Portuguese license, when I have to get that. I have to figure out a way. So yeah, it's kind of a mess. Kind of a mess. Oh, yeah. Now you've got me thinking of, there's a pizza place on the corner. I have to walk down the hill to the supermarket, and there's also a pizza place on the corner. And now I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'll pick up a pizza for dinner. And the pizza place does deliver here because I have neighbors who, like, I see the pizza guy on his scooter dropping off pizzas to people in the building. If they do walk around the house, they have no qualms about leaving packages on the bench, but they often don't feel like it, and we have to wait days until they do. You mean they like wait for packages to accumulate or something, and then they leave them all on the bench? Yeah, I would like some bitters though. When I was in the US, I didn't check luggage, and so I only could carry on like liquid, 100 milliliters of liquid. And I tried so hard to find some bitters. Okay, that's a lie. I didn't try so hard. I tried semi-hard to find bitters in a bottle that was 100 milliliters or less. I couldn't find any. Everything was like 125 milliliters, 150 milliliters. I feel like what I might need to do is sometime this summer, like I'm going to watch the airfares in Europe, like on Ryanair or EasyJet, whatever, and maybe make just like a quick weekend trip over to London and see if I can't get bitters there and bring them back. I think it's more if they're pressed for time, they skip your house. That stinks. That's not fair. Like if they got packages to deliver, I guess, yeah, they drop them on the bench. They're always stressed out because they have too little time to deliver too many packages. Do feel for them, but still. Yeah, but still. Why is it always you guys getting the short shrift? Not fair. Not fair at all. It's really not fair. Yeah. So pizza. Oh, yeah. So I just freaked out for a minute because I was like, wait a minute, does the store close at 8 or it closes at 9? It closes at 9. So I do have time. I was like, for a second, I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to get my cream for my coffee. What will I do in the morning? How will I start the day? I'm a coffee drinker. First thing I do when I wake up, I do some stretches. I do like 5 sun salutations after I turn off my alarm. And then I go directly to the kitchen and start the coffee. And there you have my morning routine. Oh my goodness. So yeah, the getting the cream for my coffee tonight is very, very important. So, oh, you guys, it was so nice to hang out with you tonight. So much fun. Yeah, us people that put cream in our coffee, we're very passionate about it. Yeah. I mean, I can drink it. So only in the morning, really, do I put cream in it. When I go out in the afternoon, I'll drink the espressos, right? That they have, like that's the coffee, the European coffee, right? I'll drink the espressos in the afternoon. But in the morning, I need a big American coffee with cream and sugar in it. That's what I need. Too funny. Oh my gosh. All right, you guys, I guess that's it for today. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. And I'll see you next week, unless I see you inside another reading sprint somewhere, which I might. I saw you guys one time and it was super fun. It was like, yeah. All right, get some creamer. I'm on it, Tina. Enjoy the rest of your day. Mika, enjoy your evening. And I'll see you guys next week if I don't see you before. Bye, Mika. Bye, Tina. See you next time.